Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amara and today we are going to be talking all things yoga teacher training, and I'm going to be answering some of your questions that you asked me on Instagram, and yeah, I'm just really excited. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so just to give you some context of what my yoga teacher training is. My yoga teacher training is a 200-hour Yoga Alliance certified teacher training, which I am doing over the course of 1 year, and I'm currently 6 months through. So this is a 6-month update. I'm halfway through my yoga teacher training, and yeah, it's really exciting. I feel like there have been some major shifts in who I am as a person and the way I'm living my life, and just some major shifts in my little world that I'm living in, which is really, really amazing. It's been an incredible journey so far, and we are only halfway, which is just amazing to think about because there's still so much more in store. But as I said, I have reached my halfway mark. So as of today, I have got myself some insurance so I can start teaching classes. And yeah, I am really excited. So that is something that you should keep an eye out for on my YouTube channel, because there will be some yoga flows coming as well, which I have a lot of people message me about on Instagram. So I'm so excited that I can finally start to share it, because before I always had to say no, which made me super sad. So, okay, first question, this is a really good place to start, is how to find the right yoga teacher training. Now, obviously, this is my first yoga teacher training, so I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I did ask a lot of my favourite yoga teachers, and I have a friend who did yoga teacher training before me as well, and I did ask them for advice before choosing the course that I was going to do. And one of the few things that they always said to me is, first of all, make sure that your course is certified by Yoga Alliance. So Yoga Alliance is like the world organisation which recognises yoga teacher training courses and says that they meet the standard of being allowed to teach yoga. So that was something that was recommended to me. I also think that once you've got past the fact that they're definitely 200 hours, because that's how many hours you need to become a yoga teacher, and then you've made sure that they're Yoga Alliance certified, I think it then really comes down to personal choice and personal preference. So if you know what type of yoga you really love and you know what type of yoga teacher you want to be, obviously go for a course which is in the area in which you enjoy. So I knew before I started yoga teacher training that I loved vinyasa classes, particularly power vinyasa classes. So I was looking for a teacher training which was predominantly vinyasa based and had some really dynamic classes in there, because that is what I love to practice and that will be what I want to teach. So yeah, it is quite important, I'd say, to know what styles you prefer and what styles you want to sort of qualify in. Obviously, when you do your teacher training, you are then qualified to teach anything, but I personally wouldn't necessarily straight after my vinyasa training go and teach a yin class, because I'm not really trained in yin. I'd probably do some more training on top of my 200-hour, specifically in yin style yoga, before going and teaching that. Also, maybe do a class with one of the instructors on your teacher training and then see if it's your sort of vibe, because you may do that class and absolutely love it, but you may also do it and then be like, actually, this isn't the style of yoga I enjoy, this isn't the style of yoga I really want to teach, so then maybe the course might not be right for you. So a few things to think about that. Okay, this is a really, really good one. So immersive or long-term training. So if you've looked into any kind of yoga teacher training, you'll see that there are a few options. You can go away and do your teacher training in about 3 or 4 weeks and do it like full-time and full-on, which, to be honest, was originally my idea. But this question is asking me whether I think immersive or a long-term yoga teacher training is better, which obviously I haven't done an immersive course, so I can only speak from the side of a long-term course. So for those of you that don't know, I am doing my course over the space of a year. I do 1 or 2 weekends a month, which are full days, and I usually travel to London to do that, and then yeah, we do 2 days in London, and then I do that for, it's not actually a full year, it's 9 months, and that is the way that I chose to qualify, so mine is not full-time. As I said, when I first was thinking about doing yoga teacher training, I really wanted a 1 month course. I wanted to go, I wanted to get it done. And I didn't really consider a long-term course. I thought it was going to be a pain in the bum to have to do it for so long. But to be honest, I'm actually really glad I did it this way. Like, first of all, if I hadn't done it this way, I don't know how I would have been able to do it otherwise, because I would have had to take a whole month off of work, which is obviously not possible for a lot of people. I also would have had to like pay all the way up front, so I pay for my course monthly, which is really, really helpful because it means that I didn't have to have the bulk payment up at the beginning, which is something that's really important to think about because yoga teacher training can be really expensive. But then there is also the side of, I have absolutely loved doing it over the space of a year. I think it's making it easier for me to input the things of yoga that I'm learning and make them a part of my lifestyle, rather than being immersed in it for 1 month and then having to come home and figure out how this works in my life. I'm learning it while still in my life, which I'm finding is really beneficial. But I would be lying if I said that there weren't moments when I was just like, I want to teach, I want to be qualified now, this is taking such a long time. So I do definitely have those moments, but then I love my yoga teacher training weekends. I love going and seeing everyone. I'm gonna miss not having those. So, positives and negatives. Obviously it's a really personal choice. It's completely up to what you think would work best for you. Next question. Where did you take your YTT and how did you decide on the school? So I kind of spoke about this, but I am doing my yoga teacher training at Yoga London. It is a vinyasa based training, and I decided on it because I needed to do a long-term course that I could still do whilst working, and it was the one that was sort of travelable for me, so I can commute up there on the weekends. And yeah, that was how I decided on it. I did make sure to really do research into it though and make sure it was vinyasa based, because that was also really important to me. The next question is, what did you wish you had known before you started? I feel like there were a few things I wish I'd known before I started. I think the first thing was that I put off doing yoga teacher training for ages because I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think my practice was strong enough. I thought like I need to be able to do a headstand before I can sign up to teacher training and things like that. And that is really not true. So I wish that was something I'd known, because maybe I would have signed up a bit earlier. And then what else do I wish I'd known? I just think I wish I'd known sort of how life-changing it was going to be. I felt ready for it, but I had no idea just how, definitely so much more than the physical. And we obviously know that with yoga, but so much more than I had even known before. And I love that about my course as well. Next question. How many hours do you practice yoga a week and which styles? Okay, this is a really, really good question. So as a part of my course, we are required to have a 6-day-a-week yoga practice. This is predominantly vinyasa based because our yoga teacher training is in vinyasa. But if you were doing another school of yoga, it might be in something else, but we are always free to do different styles as well. We're encouraged to do a restorative class or things like that during the week, but our practice does have to add up to 6 days a week. Okay, next question. Which forms of styles of yoga are you training in your yoga teacher training? I am training in vinyasa yoga. We have touched on yoga nidra and a few other things, but my yoga teacher training is predominantly vinyasa based, which I love. Oh, another really good question. How many hours a week do you spend on yoga teacher training? Obviously this varies week to week. On the weekends where I actually have my yoga teacher training, days start from 9 and they finish at 6. So I spend, how many hours is that? So that is 9-hour days. So 2 9-hour days would be 18 hours on the weekends when I have yoga teacher training. During a normal week, my yoga practice is kind of a part of my yoga teacher training. So I don't always do an hour practice, but obviously we're required to practice 6 days a week. So I'd say that I spend 4 to 5 hours practicing yoga a week. And that is partly due to the requirements of my course. Before, when I first read this question, I was like, oh, I don't spend that long on it during the week, but actually Recently I really have, and it's a labour of love. I absolutely love it. So it doesn't feel like work, but I have been spending a lot of time on it because I've been starting to think about the things I want to do with it in the future. We also have a bit of self-study in between, so like to get ready for my next yoga teacher training weekend, I'm reading the Sutras of Patanjali, and that's important for us to know. So I say I spend anywhere from 1 to 2 hours maybe prepping and doing any reading, and some weeks that might be more if I'm trying to research and get myself really ready and feeling confident for teaching straight afterwards. And I also like to spend some time in the week maybe practicing my teaching practice, so flowing and teaching, and maybe even teaching some friends. So it can go anywhere from 2 hours if we're just talking about the actual prep work for the weekends, to 6 hours if you're thinking about my practice, and then on top of that any research I'm doing and anything I'm planning to put in place going forwards. So yeah, it can really vary. It depends. If you know you want to do yoga afterwards, it might be a bit more because you're really sort of preparing yourself for a new career, and if not, maybe you're just doing a bit of reading before bed, and both are absolutely fine. What else? Are you planning on teaching when you finish, online, in person, or a mix? This is a great question. I am planning on teaching when I finish. I'm very excited. I'm actually planning on teaching just before I finish because I've got my insurance, so I will be starting to teach very, very soon. Obviously at the moment the world is still very online, so I will be doing some online classes and maybe on YouTube. I think I will continue to offer online classes going forwards, but I definitely want to teach in the studio. I think it's really special to be able to hold space for other people because I know how many amazing transformations can happen in a yoga class and in that communal space. So yeah, I think I'll be doing a mixture of both, and I'm very excited to start teaching. Next question. Oh, this one's cute. How old are you? I am 23, so I started yoga when I was 19, and I am now doing my yoga teacher training at 23. How do you balance this with a full-time job? Yeah, it's not easy. This is why I did the 1-year course, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to balance it with my full-time job otherwise. For those of you that don't know, I am currently a school teacher, which obviously requires a lot of work outside of my working hours. So to be honest, signing up to my teacher training was a way of forcing myself to have a work-life balance, and I'm so glad I did. Yeah, those 1 weekends a month, I don't think about it. I'm like, you know what, we're just doing it. And to be honest, any work that I do in the evenings or at my yoga practice, it feels like a labour of love. It's a passion project, so it doesn't drain me. I feel like I may have a really, really long day at work, and I may feel like my cup is completely empty, and then when I come home and sit down to focus on my yoga teacher training and everything like that, it really does fill my cup, and I find like a reboost of energy, which is just the most amazing feeling. It's how you know you're doing the right thing, when it fills you with joy and it fills you with energy. So yes, that is my best answer for that. Are the other YTT students really nice, and are they helpful? 100%. I'm on a course with the most amazing other YTT people. We are having so much fun. We have a group chat, we message each other, we share anything good that we find, and it's just really nice to be surrounded with people who also love yoga, because to be honest, I've never really been surrounded with this many people. It's like having built-in friends from the first day. It really is. It's so fun. Did you think you were going to teach yoga as a job when signing up for your yoga teacher training? That is also a really, really good question. I don't think I fully considered it. I knew I wanted to do my yoga teacher training, and in the back of my head, I knew I wanted to teach yoga, but I didn't know if I wanted to do it as a full-time job or how it could work as a full-time job. And I was really just doing it and was gonna see what happens, sort of let destiny and fate lead me, because I am one of those people. But yeah, I'd say when I started, I was definitely on the fence. I think it was a distant dream, but I wasn't sure I could see it being reality. Now that I'm halfway through my course, I'm definitely feeling a little bit differently. I'm definitely leaning towards the side of one day I would love to teach yoga full time. I think it is my dream in life, is to do that. So yeah, it definitely has sparked a passion within me that was there before but is now so strong, and I can't wait to follow it. Do you feel like yoga teacher training has changed your life? Yes, the short answer is yes. I do feel like it has changed my life. I feel like before I started yoga teacher training, I'd only dipped my toes into yoga. I had no idea how yoga could be a lifestyle. It wasn't just a class I went to, and I'm that person who yoga changed my life anyway, but yoga teacher training has changed my life even more. I feel like I am a more grounded person, I'm a more self-aware person, and I have so many tools to now sort of deal with the things that I struggle with, and I do just feel like a completely different person. It makes me really happy because I feel like everything is just meant to be and I'm on the right path, which is just an amazing feeling. But yes, I would say it has changed my life, and I would say that there's definitely been a few moments where yoga has saved me over these past 6 months, and doing it in my teacher training has really kept me going. So yes, I absolutely love it. And I would say it has been quite life-changing actually. What have you learned for it so far? Oh, like what life lessons have I been taught by my yoga teacher training so far? I'd say that my yoga teacher training has probably brought up a lot of things that I wasn't, maybe I was aware of, but I wasn't taking notice of when I was, before I started the program. I think what people may not realize about yoga teacher training is that it's extremely self-reflective. It's not just about learning how to teach others. It's definitely a personal journey. So I've been definitely confronting things where I'm a real perfectionist, and sort of getting over those feelings of that, and seeing within yoga philosophy how that could be affecting, and how really that isn't the best way to go through life. And also mindfulness is something I was really, really passionate about before, but it's something that I am so much more passionate about now. We have learned so much on the side of being mindful and mindful practices, and it really is a life lesson that I will take with me forever. And the things that I've put in place, the routines that I've built, I feel like a different person, and I really will make them a part of my lifestyle, which is really nice. And this is what I was saying with the 1-year course. I feel like I've really had the opportunity to learn the material one weekend and then actually input it into my life. So like our last yoga teacher training weekend was all about meditation and mindful practices, and then for the next month I am trying loads of different meditations, and I'm trying loads of different mindfulness techniques and routines, and seeing what I like, but also seeing what could work for my students going forward. So it's really nice to have that time to really stew over the things you're learning and apply them into your life. So I'd say that every weekend has been a life lesson. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that it's about the journey. It's not always about how quickly you can reach the destination. And this has been a really beautiful journey, and obviously doing it over the course of 1 year, it means it's been a really long journey, but it has been so beautiful to experience. And yeah, that's probably my biggest life lesson I'm taking at the moment, but I'm sure I'll have so many more in 6 months' time when I'm finished. Is it 6 months? It's definitely not 6 months. I finish in July, so it is March, 4 months' time. But yeah. Next question. Are you excited to teach yoga after this? Very excited. I hope to see you all at my classes. And is everyone as bright and as colourful as you in the activewear department? If you follow me on Instagram, you will know I love colourful activewear. It just makes me really happy. But no, not everyone is as colourful as me. That's just a me thing. I love colourful outfits. I feel like they make me happy. I feel like they make everyone else happy. They make people smile. So yeah, no, that's just a me thing. Next question, what are the exams like? Okay, so obviously I'm only halfway through my course, so I have not done the exams yet, but I can tell you what exams we are going to be having. So we are going to have one practical teaching exam where we have to teach an exam sequence, which is a primary Ashtanga sequence. So it's not something that we have to make up, but we have to remember a sequence and we have to teach it. And that is just teaching it to one other person in front of an examiner. We then also have an anatomy exam, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but yes, we also have an anatomy exam. We also have a yoga theory exam, and then on top of that we will also have to do 3 observations of other yoga teachers, which we have to write up and submit. I think we also have to do a bit of writing on our own yoga philosophy, but don't quote me on that. And we have to submit a monthly journal every single month to our course leader, sort of about our journey with our yoga teacher training and about our practice at home. So yeah. Next question was, what does a normal day of yoga teacher training consist of? I have uploaded a vlog of yoga teacher training whilst at home, but I can quickly go over this. So in the morning we start with a 2-hour practice, and then we start at 9, so we do a 2-hour practice until 11. We then have lectures until lunchtime. After lunch we then have another 2-hour lecture, and then we'll have a 15-minute break, and then we have another 2-hour lecture which takes us to 6 o'clock. During those lectures we do usually do some moving around, and then on a Sunday evening, because it's obviously weekends, that evening slot, which is usually a lecture, will always be teaching practice. So we've been practicing teaching yoga since our first weekend, and that Sunday evening slot is always the teaching slot. Last but not least, what did I learn that I didn't expect whilst doing yoga teacher training? I think doing yoga teacher training made me realise that the life that I was leading wasn't necessarily in alignment with the things that I knew within me were right. So before my yoga teacher training, I would go to my yoga classes and I'd be there and I'd be like, yes, I agree with this, I'm so on board with this is like the way I want to live. And then I would almost leave the class and it was like nothing that I'd learned in that yoga class had resonated with me. And this is obviously quite dramatic, because obviously some classes resonated with me, and if you know my story of getting into yoga, the reason like I continued doing yoga after starting was because it changed my life, and those mindful moments were so therapeutic for me. But yeah, I think I got to the stage where it was more about the physical practice, and I was not necessarily living a life which was in alignment with what I truly believed. And that's one thing on yoga teacher training that I definitely learned, is that, I don't know, I feel like my life is at a real rejig, and I am including so many mindful practices and so many things that are just really good for me. I feel like I'm filling my own cup when before I just did not do that. And yeah, yoga has always been that for me. It's been my highest form of self-care, and so it's been really nice because it just means that I've been getting more and more self-care, when actually you think yoga teacher training would be something quite not very nourishing, but it is so nourishing, and it does feel like a massive form of self-care for me, which I absolutely love. Oh, what has been my favourite part of my yoga teacher training so far? Okay, this is a very easy question to answer. My favourite part of my yoga teacher training so far has definitely been our last weekend we had, and we spent that entire weekend focusing on meditation and mindfulness and chakras, and oh my goodness, I was in heaven. I absolutely loved that. I am really obsessed with the yoga philosophy side of things, which to be honest I didn't expect. I was always I love a physical practice, I love a dynamic practice, but the yoga philosophy side of things is speaking to me on such a deeper level. I am so keen to learn more. I'm literally like a child, I can't wait to learn more. So yeah, I'd have to say the yoga philosophy side of things has been my favourite thing so far, without a doubt. Okay guys, that is it for all of the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe below, and you can follow me on Instagram at Amara Thompson for more updates on how my yoga teacher training is going. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!